Yo, 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 what's up? Mic check. Welcome to another episode of For the Record. I'm your host, Cassius Samuels, and this is a special edition of the show that I like to call In My Opinion, where I give my quick thoughts and opinions on anything and everything from music, sports, and pop culture to politics, religion, and philosophy. So if you find any entertainment value in this video, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more dope content like this. Having said that, on this episode, I would like to finally give my thoughts and opinions on the Starz Network series Power, which is a story about James St. Patrick, aka Ghost, who's a ruthless, intelligent drug dealer that wants to leave the criminal world to pursue legitimate business interests as a nightclub owner and eventually a career as a politician. For the record and full disclaimer, I was a big fan of Power when it first came out, to the point that it was one of my favorite shows for a while. It seemed like it was a perfect crime drama that was witty, suspenseful, and unpredictable with the way it delivered its action. But over time, the show slowly started to deteriorate into like a parody of drug drama that became so inconsistent and so convoluted that it lost all of the luster that it had before. So coming into the sixth season, I was one of the people who had high hopes for a strong final season, despite coming off of a very underwhelming fifth season. And well, let's just say, not only was I underwhelmed with the sixth and final season of Power, I was so disappointed and so let down that I actually stopped watching the show altogether after the mid-season finale cliffhanger that saw Ghost get shot. Spoiler alert, there will be spoilers in this review, so if you haven't seen Power and you're not caught up on the last season, you probably want to click off of this right now. But with all that being said, let me start at the top with everything that I just thought. And for a long time now, my biggest complaint has been the writing, and that didn't change with the sixth season. That's been my biggest complaint for like at least 2 or 3 seasons, and it didn't change this season. My next biggest complaint was the acting. It was very cheesy, overemphasized, over the top all the time. Like I said earlier, it was very inconsistent, especially in the last 5 episodes where there were parts and scenes and dialogue that was different from how they told the story earlier. Like, for example, there was a scene where Tommy was in Tasha's apartment. He was getting ready to shoot her. And the first time they showed this scene, he found out that she killed Lakeisha, which is his girlfriend. So he was going to shoot her. And the first time they showed this scene, Tasha was standing up. She turned around. She had her back to him. They said what they had to say. He was going to kill her. He didn't kill her. He left. The next time they showed this scene, Tasha was on her knees and she was facing him. And the whole scene setup was different. The dialogue was different and everything. So I figured that maybe they just used 2 different takes because they were too lazy to film 2 takes that were the same, and they changed it. I don't know. It just made it really lazy, really inconsistent, and just goes to show that was one of the biggest flaws right to the end of the show for me. The characterizations, that's another big thing for the show that really made it go off the rails and made me not like it, especially this last season. The last couple seasons, like the characterizations have been horrible. I mean, starting with Tasha, raising her son to be some thug killer, drug dealer, which is a total flip from how she was acting all throughout the series, where she's always trying to keep Tariq out of trouble, trying to keep him on the straight and narrow, trying to keep him in school, trying to keep him away from the life that he eventually ended up in. She just ended up like, hey, fuck it, I'm going to teach you the game. That shit was crazy to me. And then like in this last part of the season where she tried to frame her new boyfriend, who was an innocent man, for Ghost murder, like a dummy who didn't realize that he had a million ways to prove that he had nothing to do with Ghost murder. Like, she's supposed to be smarter than that, and she acted like a complete dumbass throughout this whole entire fucking last season. One minute she wants to kill Ghost, she hates Ghost, but then she's turning around, she's protecting him. Then she's sad that he's in love with Angela, but then she don't give a fuck. Like, she's just all over the place, which is a problem with a lot of these characters. They flip-flop a lot. After that, they had Ghost acting crazy on this last season too. Like, he was acting out of pocket, over the top all the time too. Like, not just on his regular Ghost shit. Because Ghost has his moments where he's like super arrogant, super boisterous and shit, talking savage and shit. Like, he has those moments. But this season I felt like was really over the top, on some stereotypical like toxic shit. Like there's this one part where he's talking shit to Tasha, like calling her a chicken head, telling her she ain't shit. He's gonna take the kids from her. Like he's just shitting on everybody. Like he was shitting on Rashad Tate, fucking in some egregious ways. Like he didn't even have to be. Like he was like a lot of incidents where he was just being an asshole for no reason. Like that's what I felt like. Tariq's character, man, was possibly the worst character of all of them when it comes to characterizations throughout the entire series, not even just the last season, where he was being portrayed as like some grown thug ass man who needs to know who his mom is fucking. Like that shit was insane. He's like, you fucking some dude, I ain't even met him. Like, nigga, who are you? That's your mom. She can fuck whoever she want. Anyway, and his character motivations, like his whole arc makes no fucking sense. He hates Ghost, but he wants to be just like him. All the things he hates about Ghost, he does himself. He lies to people. He cheats people. He manipulates people. He flips on people who, like, he even flipped on Uncle Tommy, who's like supposed to be one. Like they set him up to be, them two supposed to be like dudes. And then at the drop of a dime, he just starts setting everybody up, flipping on everybody. Like, you can't trust this little nigga for nothing. And I've always hated Tariq's character. Never liked him. But this last season just really put it over the top. And the characterizations, the bad characterizations, they ain't stopped there. I mean, I could go on about Proctor, how the writing flipped him, one of the most loyal characters on the entire show, flipped and turned him into a snitch. Or Tommy and how his motivations as a character. Tommy, obviously one of my favorite characters on the show, even up to the end. His motivations were flip-flopped all over the fucking place. One minute he's cool with Ghost, next minute he's not. One minute he's stuck in a situation where he's got to trust Ghost, but he don't want to trust Ghost, and then he's trying to kill Ghost, but he's not trying to kill Ghost. Then he's trying to, like, there's just too much shit. It's just too convoluted. It got to be too crazy. And there's just way more character shit, man. I don't have time to go through it all. But as far as the ending goes, as far as who shot Ghost, that shit was predictable as fuck. That's how bad the writing was, because it was obvious to me no matter how much they tried to confuse things. At the end of the day, to me also, Tariq was really the only one who could have really killed Ghost. It would have made no sense to me if like Sax killed him or Dre killed him or Paz killed him or anybody else. Like, it would have made no sense, and that would have been a horrible, egregious, and preposterous characterization to have Ghost get taken out by one of those cats. Personally, I think killing Ghost was a mistake, flat out. The way they killed him was just so unceremonious. Like, he got shot in the chest by his son, and he fell off a balcony. If Ghost was my character, I would have had him go out in a blaze of glory against like some unstoppable situation or something. But I don't know. I just wouldn't have killed him at all. I would have either had him go out in a blaze of glory, or I would have found a way to end the story with him winning everything. You know, have the drug dealer win for once. But I will say before we get out of here on this video, on a positive note, there was some poetry in the ending though. The fact that it was Tariq that killed him, like I said, it make a lot of sense. It did make a lot of sense symbolically, even though it didn't make sense from a character standpoint. Like I said, he hates Ghost, but he wants to be just like Ghost. Makes absolutely no sense. It's a contradiction. I did like how they did the montage at the end. It showed all the old times from the show and reflected on how all of this basically got started and put in motion because Ghost wanted to go bang his high school sweetheart. Like, it was crazy. Like, that was the message I took from the show, that one choice basically set fate into motion and changed the lives of dozens of people to the point that everybody involved either ended up dead, broke, or in jail, or all three. You know what I'm saying? Some people came out a little bit on top, like Tommy got away, you know, Tariq kind of got away and shit, but Ghost ended up winning in the end. Even though he's dead, in a way, he kind of won. So I get the poetry of it. So I did have those kind words to say about it. But let's not forget, at the beginning of the series, even though Ghost did leave his family to go start fucking Angela, Tasha was trying to fuck the driver and flirting with him and shit too, like right as the show started. So let's not forget about that. It wasn't all Ghost. But in closing, for real, in my opinion, the final season of Power is the black people's version of the Game of Thrones final season. Like, it was horrible. It has some dope moments. Power always does. But in totality, I hated it. I won't even try to sugarcoat it. I thought it was awful in almost every aspect, to the point that it ended up being hilariously funny to me. Like, I couldn't do nothing but laugh at it at a certain point. The only reason I finished watching this series is because I have invested 5 years of my life watching it so far. So I had to finish it out. But this is easily one of the most inconsistent, all over the place TV shows that I've ever watched. And I actually used to like this show. I cannot stress that enough. I have no plans to revisit this universe and give no fucks about anything coming out related to the Power universe in the future at all. But what about you? Did you like the way Power Season 6 ended? Do you plan to watch the sequel series? Or are you like me and you think the shit is worthless and you have zero plans to watch anything Power related going forward? Let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel on your way out. And I will see you beautiful children of the universe later. Take care of yourself and others and stay blessed. 1.